Speedrunning is kind of a difficult hobby to get into. It's always been something I've watched from afar and admired as a fascinating display of skill and game knowledge, but have never really attempted myself due to the high barrier of entry. So I decided to challenge myself to learn to speedrun a game in 7 days. Specifically Dark Souls 3, since I have a lot of experience with the game already and I think it's an interesting game to run. And hopefully by documenting this process in video form, I can help other people in a similar position get into speedrunning. Day 1. I started first by picking a category to run. I looked at some advice about what the best beginner categories were and decided to pick any percent glitchless, due to its length of around an hour. This felt like long enough of a run that I'd be able to sink my teeth into the game, but not so long that I'd still be learning the route at day 4. Then I spent the entire rest of the first day preparing my game to run, and god, this was a nightmare. It shouldn't have been too much of a problem, but unfortunately the wiki containing all of the information about Souls speedrunning was taken down literally days before I started working on this video, making the whole process a massive headache that involved me watching unlisted YouTube videos, accidentally downloading a corrupted version of the game. This is very odd. This does not have Irithyll on it. Why? So is it there now? No. Oh, is my menu bugged? Ah? My save files are so bugged, man. Using the Wayback Machine to access old versions of the Speed Souls wiki, and then finally asking the Souls Speedrun Discord for help, which immediately solved my problem. Thank you very much, Souls Speedrunning Discord. My major issue stemmed from the need to down patch the game. Any percent glitchless is done on an older version of Dark Souls 3, so you can take advantage of an item called Carthus Rouge. In this patch it was insanely broken, and it makes up the majority of our damage for a lot of the run. I could have just ran current patch instead, but for some reason I just didn't feel like it. With very little time in the day left, I did one last thing, which was picking a route. In fitting with the premise of the video, I picked the most baby, beginner, toddler with a controller route possible, otherwise known as Sharp Plus 3, and found this really great guide for it by the current world record holder, Sieg. Day 2. It was time to start the most intimidating part of the process, learning the route. Anytime I'd attempted to speedrun a game before, this is where I'd fallen off. But this time I had everything prepared. The correct version of the game, the practice mod, save states, and a very detailed video walking me through each step of the run. The run goes like this. Take out Gundyr. Very messy Gundyr. Then take out Vort. Fine. Grab a sharp gem and some charcoal pine bundles from the undead settlement, and then do this awkward jump called thrall skip to avoid running the whole way around. Grab the sellsword twin blades, which is our main weapon for the run, and the Farron coal in the Crucifixion Woods. Upgrade the twin blades to +3 with the sharp infusion. Take out the abyss watchers, which is supposed to be a major run killer. One, two, three, 4. Oh, I forgot to set up the fireball. And just like that, it's just that easy. I am much better at that boss than I should be. Take out Wolnir, which for some reason I found incredibly difficult during this whole process. Kill the Crystal Sage in 2 phases by reading the crystal patterns on the floor to predict where he'll teleport to. He's at the back. Yep. Make the very uncomfortable run to Deacons and then take them out. Run all the way to Yorm, doing this really simple but very helpful skip in the dungeon. Parry Pontiff. So the strategy here is to stay in front of him. And then we're gonna retry that. That is stressful as fuck. Grab the Easterner's Ashes and upgrade your twin blades to +7. throw yourself off a flight of stairs and then use very specific stamina management to bait certain openings from Aldrich, take out Dancer while shitting yourself because you wasted all your flasks on the previous fight. Oh, if I didn't do that, it would have been over. Okay, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Okay, there, fine. Quit out on the bridge while running past the dragons to avoid the fire breath. Take out the real run killer, which is DSA. Well, I got greedy, but like, really? That's a very easy fight. So that's not a big deal. Like, the damage is insane. Make the most uncomfortable and longest run of all time to the princes. Oh, fuck. Okay, maybe it's a little harder than I thought. Ideally freeze the princes here, but I never learned how to do that. And finally take out Cinder and then link the fire to finish the game. Okay, that was just awful. I was trying to like do less, or just use my ridiculous amount of health as a resource, but it just backfired and like just push it on, just fight the boss like normally, another boost. Throughout this entire run, I was making save states before key moments that I could go back to and practice, which is probably the most useful thing that I did while learning the route. I cannot stress enough how important these save states were to successfully learning and improving. I've left the link to the save state program in the description, and if you're planning on learning this run or any Dark Souls 3 speedrun, I would highly suggest you make save states as you're going through for the first time. You don't realize how much you can't practice properly without them, either because getting to a location like a boss takes such a long time, or because you use up your consumables during each attempt. I never would have really learnt the run in the first place if I couldn't retry each segment when I was first learning it until I got it right. And because I was retrying each part, by the end of my first playthrough I had essentially created a deathless segmented speedrun, which ended with a time of 1 hour and 13 minutes, which was a pretty accurate estimate of how long a run would actually take me at this point. The rest of the second day was spent trying to finish my first run. It didn't go very well. It's over. Did I aggro the big rat? It's kind of bad. Oh, that's very bad. The fact that after you die to Wolnir, you have to go fight Wolnir again is so fucked up. No, 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 no! Oh, why? Oh my god, that's so far away. Oh, what the fuck? My early game was very messy, especially Wolnir, who I died to repeatedly. Despite how terribly this run was going, I didn't want to reset. I just needed splits to run against and a PB to aim for, even if they weren't very good. And then this happened. I just don't know his moveset very well. That is just unreal. I mean, this makes me look like I've never played the game before. It's so slow, I keep rolling so early. Dude, that is fucking awful. Okay, there it is, run's dead. Obviously, I needed a lot more practice at Dragon Slayer armor before I could get a somewhat decent time. I didn't really expect to have a problem with DSA of all bosses going into this. Your damage is really good here, so I was confident that I wouldn't die, but clearly I was very, very wrong. In total, I died 6 times to this one boss, costing me more than 15 minutes. The main issue I was having was dodging this attack. I kept rolling too early and getting caught at the end of his swing just as my iframes ran out, and unfortunately for me, this is one of the few attacks he can do that will one-shot you. After being thoroughly demoralized by that run, I reset and went to do some much needed practice. I spent a good amount of time learning to parry Pontiff. Okay, so I think I've got the parrying down. Let's see how many I can do in a row. 1, 2, 3. Oh, 32. What the fuck was that? Which was incredibly useful as it allowed me to entirely script the fight and completely avoid his cringe stalling in phase 2. I spent an even longer time practicing DSA. If you're struggling with a boss, I highly recommend downloading the practice mod, turning off all damage, and just fighting the boss until you feel like you can easily recognize and dodge each of their attacks. I went into this practice dying to DSA 6 times in a row and came out of it killing him hitless without my resin running out. It was completely night and day. I took a break and then came back and started a run. My early game was pretty solid up until Wolnir, where I took a very unnecessary death in the catacombs. Oh, I went to the wrong wall. Quit out! What? Bro, I can't believe I got hit by 2 rats and lost a lot of time playing the fight really safe, so I didn't have a repeat of earlier. My crystal sage was pretty good as I managed to correctly read the crystals like I practiced, but I still missed out on the 2 phase. Okay, well, almost. The deacon section was a bit of a mess, but I managed to not die, which is what's most important, especially in a section as difficult as that one. Ow. Ow, 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 ow. But it's when I made it to Pontiff where the practice I put in really paid off. Unfortunately, Aldrich didn't go nearly as well, and with a combination of poor RNG and generally bad plays from me, I died. But also, come on, like 2 fucking arrow attacks in phase 2, like really, this shit's so fucking dumb. And just like that, we're back at DSA, except this time I wasn't gonna die 6 times. It wasn't the cleanest fight, but I didn't die, and I managed to dodge my problem attack. And holy shit, what a fucking gold. So I'm about to get the biggest time save ever. So as expected, when on a run this good, I started choking so hard. I died on the run to Princes not only once, but twice, and then followed it up by dying to the boss itself, which was bullshit, by the way. Please explain how this attack hits me. Either way, at this point I had come too far, and I just needed to close out my first run. I placed the souls, finished off Cinder with relative ease on my first try, and Alt F4'd the game. I had finished my first run with a time of 1:14.04, putting me at 134th on the leaderboard. This run wasn't very good, so I looked back over my footage of the run and made a very long list of the things I needed to practice. So I pulled up my save states and the practice mod, and I practiced and I practiced and I practiced and I practiced and I practiced. Day 3. On day 3, I immediately started doing runs to try and implement everything I had learned from day 2. Yeah, this one's dead. It was not going very well. I kept resetting very early on. It's just so easy to justify resetting when you're less than 20 minutes into a run. But all these small runs really add up, and then you've been playing for an hour without making it past Yorm. The one run that was on good pace in the morning of day 3 died in a really odd way. Retrospectively, it was probably very helpful that this run died here, because it highlighted that my pathing and stamina management when running through Irithyll was inconsistent. If this run hadn't died like this, I probably wouldn't have practiced it, and it would have had the potential to ruin a run with a lot more promise. In spite of every run I did that morning dying, I was still showing significant time save over my first run, even on my best splits. After taking a break and then playing for another 2 hours, I finally got a run going. I'd made it past Yorm without dying. I know, what an accomplishment. It was at this point on day 3 where I started to have real problems with my nerves. Even though there weren't really any stakes to failing, just the idea that the run was going well made me really nervous and uncomfortable, and it notably affected my play for the rest of the run. This was a major point of failure for me going forward. I ended up losing many promising runs because I was so focused on trying to calm my nerves rather than actually playing the game. No, man! Fuck! Dude. Oh, I was so nervous when I got hit and I was low and I knew I was in one hit range and oh my god. In spite of this though, Pontiff went really well. Putting me comfortably ahead of my PB. Where things fell apart though was Aldrich. I really panicked when he started up his bow attack in phase 2, and instead of doing what I normally do and running to the back of the room to avoid it, I tried to DPS him down. Fuck, I should have played it safe. Oh. It was a really stupid death and completely unnecessary time loss, but at this point I was too deep to reset, and since my PB also had a death to Aldrich, there was still a chance I could beat that time. This is quite bad. That was really bad, but I don't know. Despite all that practice, my nerves got the better of me, and I died to this attack again, which was extremely frustrating. I did manage to get him on the second try, but it was not clean, with me getting hit multiple times. But don't worry, that's not all, because of course I died on the run to Princes as well. This one was completely my fault. I really fucked up the stamina management coming up these stairs. You're meant to start sprinting here, and I started here, so I was bound to get coated in wax and blown up. Then it was time for Princes, but because of my death in the archives, I'd lost my Ember, making the margin of error for this fight a lot smaller. Anytime I was even slightly below full health, I was at risk of being one-shot. I don't even know what to say about this one. I just didn't roll. Complete skill issue. Once I finally took out the princes, I had an insanely fast cinder, for me at least, and closed out the run with a time of 106.57, placing me at 125th on the leaderboard. God, what an awful endgame. It's astonishing that this run even PB'd. The one silver lining to this run is that if you were to remove all the time loss from those 4 deaths, the final time would have been under an hour, which means it's possible at my current skill level. So I set a new goal for myself. Get a time under an hour. Once again, I made a very, very long list of all the things I did wrong and went to practice. Princes and Aldrich got specific attention this time since those deaths felt more like errors in my play rather than my nerves messing me up. Day 4 and 5. I'm grouping these 2 days together because I did very similar things for both of them. Day 4 was full of heartbreakingly close sub-hour attempts, the worst of which died at Cinder. Oh wow, that's really, really bad. I threw like insanely hard. Like I didn't just throw, I like mega ultra threw. At least this let me know that I needed to practice him more because I hadn't been practicing him at all. On day 5 though, I didn't have a single run make it past DSA. No way! Oh, that sucks so bad. I can't believe I died to fucking Dancer. I can't fucking believe it. Oh my god, such a dumb fucking... Oh, dude, that was just so shit. He got in front of me. Alright, well this run's dead. This was pretty frustrating, as I just kept repeating the first 30 minutes of gameplay over and over again. I was so unbelievably sick of seeing Farron Keep by the end of this day, and I already fucking hated that place and the stupid Gru enemies. Especially this one enemy with the spear that's perfectly placed to poke you after you put out one of the flames. Fuck you in particular. God, look at that fucking lunge he does. What a dick. I also found out that my pathing on the way to Deacons was not consistent. I mean, he's just not getting stuck at all. He just got out so easy. So I kind of fixed it. It seems like no matter what you do, this run is going to be somewhat inconsistent. That's just crazy. So you've just got to live with it being a potential run killer at all times because the alternative is so much slower. The good thing about these days though is that I was consistently golding some of my best early game splits, which proved that I was improving and not just staying at the same level. All this small time save really adds up and it's going to make the margin of error for getting a sub-hour time much larger. This is demonstrated really clearly by my sum of best going from just over an hour at the start of day 4 to 58 minutes at the end of day 5. In contrast to the runs though, practice went really well. I think my practice at the end of day 5 was especially useful. It was clear that I had points of failure all over the run that simply weren't consistent. So I went through pretty much every section that a run had ever died to and practiced them until I could do them correctly multiple times in a row. This was one of my longest practice sessions and it was mostly spurred on by the knowledge that there were only 2 days left to get this run. So I can't keep making really stupid mistakes like dying to the fucking Deacons. It was also at this point where I considered looking into some of the other much faster routes, like the Ass route or the Raw +1 route. Very suggestive stuff, I know. I did a short practice run of Raw +1 up until Wolnir and decided that it wasn't enough of a difference to be worth it, especially since it would leave me with much less health for late game than my current route did. Day 6. Only 2 days left. At this point I was going hollow. So many runs were dying almost immediately. Yeah, I mean, that was just terrible, so don't worry about that. Alright. I think my success with the early game came back to bite me on day 6. I had this idea in my head that I needed to be 1 to 2 minutes ahead going into Yorm, and when I wasn't seeing that much time save on my splits, I would make reckless mistakes trying to catch up. Oh my god, really, man? Really? Dude, the practice went so well for that to happen. The practice went so unbelievably well. Why? That's so annoying. In reality, I didn't need that time save at all to get sub hour. I just needed to not die in late game and I would have had it right then and there. Things were so dire that I even went back to my old ways of throwing a run to Walnir, just proving that in 6 days I had learned absolutely nothing. I got greedy, dude. I will kill Sigurd in real life if I don't get sub hour tomorrow. Day 7. On day 7, I woke up especially early because I knew it was the last chance I had to get sub hour. I woke up so early, in fact, that I hadn't even slept. I was borderline delirious by the time I started doing runs. Alright. There we go, managed to pick up the first Estus flask. But with only 1 day left, I needed to make every second count. That was actually really fast. Seven seconds lost on that split. Not bad. Whoa, it's so fucking stressful. Holy shit. Oh, I got it anyway. Holy shit, that was so fucking scary. That was really scuffed, but only lost 18 seconds. My early game was not bad in my PP, it was fine. And my Deacons was especially good, it was like pretty much instantly killing the second phase. And honestly, pretty good first phase. So, you know, if there was a place to lose time on, it's there. I had got a run going and it was fast. I was 1:30 ahead of my PB going into Pontiff. 1 minute 30 before my PB had even died. I could feel myself starting to get nervous at this point. Oh, that's so stressful. Holy shit. But I was pretty confident going into Pontiff because I hadn't lost a run to him since day 2. And there I was, at Aldrich, the boss that I was most inconsistent at in both runs and practice, the boss that had signaled the beginning of the end for my PB. This time I wasn't gonna let the slug boy beat me. Not only did I not die, I absolutely blew my PB's Aldrich split out of the water, and I followed it up with an insanely fast dancer to match my PB. 3 minutes and 46 ahead, 3 splits left. Let's just say that the combination of the run going so well and my severe lack of sleep made me feel like I was having a heart attack. Unfortunately, I didn't outwardly show it much, even in this moment of absolute panic. Oh, that was so scary. Holy fuck. When I finally made it to DSA though, I was perfectly calm and focused. Come on. I had developed a new strategy called holding it all in, where I would sit there for the whole fight, focusing as hard as I could, looking like I was about to pop, and then as soon as the fight ended, a wave of nerves would hit me. Oh, my heart is fucking racing. My running sections between each boss would suffer because of it, but in the end, it would push me through the hardest parts of the run. DSA was definitely the cleanest fight of this run, putting me over 6 minutes ahead with a massive gold. I was so far ahead at this point that sub-hour was possible even with one death. Okay, I think I'm gonna finish this run regardless, unless I die like 10 times. The run to Princes had several incredibly close calls. Oh my god. Oh my god. I hadn't died, but my poor play had left me with 2 Estus Flasks for a boss that I'd never beaten on my first try in a run. I just had to hope that all that practice I did paid off. It was about as slow as it could possibly have been, but I managed to barely squeak through without dying. Things were looking very promising, but oh my god was I a nervous wreck by this point. Okay, holy shit, that's so fucking scary. Oh my god, that's so fucking scary. After losing some time to placing the Lord Souls of all things, it was clear that it was really gonna come down to the wire. This was gonna have to be a pretty good Cinder if I wanted to get sub-hour, and if I died here, it was definitely over. Oh, oh my fucking god. That was such a slow cinder. Oh my god. Okay, let's check the final time, because I guess we don't exactly know. It might be 1 hour, 1 second. I really hope it's 59. That would suck if it was 1 hour. Like, just 1 hour. Alright, let's see. God, I really fucking hope it's not. Because usually the timer's slow. This is cope, maybe, but usually the timer is like a little bit slower than the in-game time. Let's fucking go! I don't think I could have scripted it better, especially me not being able to find the bonfire at the end. It's just perfect. With a time of 59:59:82, I have beaten the game in under an hour by 18 milliseconds.